Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and this is something I've wanted to talk about for quite some time now. I just had no idea how to do it. First and foremost, let me say that if you, for any reason, have seen me on Vine, I actually made a Vine about this a good couple of years ago. It was, it's 6 seconds. It's a very short, brief summary of what I'm going to talk about here in 6-second form, but the quality decline of video game manuals, that's something that really just concerned me for the longest time, because that was one of the best things about getting a brand new game, was seeing the manual and getting to read the backstory and get to read all that stuff. Of course, I believe a good game should teach you story through gameplay and teach you mechanics through gameplay, since you are playing a video game. But, of course, if you really want to know before playing, they've got you covered with the instruction manual, It was pretty intuitive, it's like, hey, if they don't tell you, or even if they do, in the game, well, if you want to read it, well, then here it is. And they were colorful, they were, awesome, they were packed with all kinds of, a lot of info, a lot of the basic starter info for the game you're about to play. And that's really nice. Now, some of them were in black and white, some of them were in color, not much of a difference. Well, there is a difference, but I mean, not much of a difference with me. I didn't really care whether they were in black and white or color, but just to see that there were pictures and it looked like something of a comic book in a way, like you gained all the info, you read it, but you also looked at the pictures, that's really cool. So if I may, I've got a whole bunch. I'm not going to show them off. That's actually going to be maybe the first-ish episode of my one show that I never started, Nerdy Merch. That is still going to happen. I just got to find a time to release it. But video game manuals. So I'm just going to showcase a couple just in case if there are younger kids in the audience who may not know or may not have really grown up with the ones that we did, let's start off with the first Tekken. You got Tekken on the PS1, and it shows you some really cool things. It shows you, let's just look at the table of contents for a minute. You got the table of contents, they show all kinds of stuff, the story, the controls, basic moves, the game screen, and stuff like that, but you also got to see, not sure if this one has it, no they do, the characters. That's a really cool thing, a description. This is how you would know. In the early Tekken days, for those who might have grown up with Tekken 4, 5, and onward, or maybe even just Tekken 6 and Tag 2 and all that, in the earlier Tekkens, they didn't have dialogue, and so they didn't exactly explain, and there was no text on the screen to explain why they were doing what they were doing, why these characters were entering the tournament to do what they were going to do. The manual had that covered. You get to see, even the things that you wouldn't really know, or not that it really would matter to know, but it makes it all the more cool because they flesh out the characters and they feel human and like characters. Like, how would you ever know in the story of Tekken 1 that Paul Phoenix was 25 years old, or that his fighting style was judo and an unknown style? That's what it says here. Or that he liked pizza. He never really eats pizza in any opening or ending in any of the games. But it's a cool thing to just say and show because it fleshes him out a little bit. And then there's the whole paragraph as to why he's doing what he's doing. So there's a lot of stuff like that in these Tekken manuals, and that's really cool because you would never really get the full story in the older games. Of course they do now with the whole dialogue and all of that stuff, so it's cool, but the way they did it here is actually really cool too, so it gives you an incentive to want to check out the manual in the first place, because if you were a kid, most likely what you could have been like was, here's a new game, manual, nope, let's play the game, here's the disc. But reading the manuals is really cool. So Crash Team Racing is up next, and it shows you most of the same stuff. Now this is, well, there's a lot more in the contents, with the starting up and the controls. Of course, the controls and all that stuff, I never really read as a kid because I would just play the game, and like I said before, playing the game and learning the mechanics through just playing the game is how I grew up with video games. That's why I'm harsh on tutorials and harsh on stopping everything to learn controls and do all that, because I never grew up with that stuff. So why do it now? It's kind of like babying in a way. But you get all kinds of menu stuff, and look, it's colorful and all that. So Tekken was in black and white, but this one's in color, and it's really, really detailed, and it's really, really cool. And then I'm pretty sure you get the modes and all that. So even if you saw my CTR quick reviews, everything I sum up now, I wasn't referencing the manual while writing the script for that, but they go over a lot of the stuff that I do at the same time, you know, all in the manual. It's all there in the manual. So, also the Spyro demo, yeah, before I turn the page. The Spyro demo, those were awesome to look forward to, because you would never find them unless, like, okay, the internet we had back then was really primitive, and I only remember using internet in the 90s, so it was like the early 2000s, so like, obviously we didn't have YouTube. The only thing, what I used to do to get my information was, I think it was called Cheat Planet or something like that. Was it Cheat Planet or was it Cheat something? It's what Games Radar became now. I think it was called Cheat Planet back then, or maybe it was called Games Radar, but it was different. It was kind of one of my neighborhood friends showed it to me. He's like, "Hey, I know a website where you can get a bunch of cheat codes for games." I'm like, "Really?" It was a new concept back then, so I was like, "Oh crap, that's really cool." It was either that or cheat code books. You know, I have a couple of those still, and I'm just reminiscing now. I'm sorry. Okay, so you get stuff like that. You even get to see like the cards and the rainbow of colors they come in, which is really neat. But you also, I believe, you get to see the characters. So it's really cool. It's really detailed, and they were just flourishing, right? As the PS1, the PS1 and the Dreamcast in that era started to, you know, die down, and PS2 and GameCube and Xbox rolled in. We got games such as Mario Sunshine. Mario Sunshine kept up, games like this kept up the motif. You get, you know, a bunch more stuff here, it's all in color, you get controls and such, you get the story. Also, there's a really funny Q&A segment in here, which is kind of weird, but at the same time it's kind of funny. The page is messed up. Okay, there we go. Oh wait, I think isn't there like a Peach Q&A or something like that? So, I don't know, I'm not sure if... Isn't there a game, one of the Mario games, where the game manual has a Q&A segment like this, but it's Peach answering the questions? Like, I feel like that's something that I've seen somewhere. I don't know. But it's really, really nice. You know, again, here's your intro. Even if you don't know who Mario is, there it is. And then you get the Piantas and all of them, and you get, you know, everyone there. So that's really cool. It shows that if you don't want to play if you haven't played the game just yet, or you don't know a whole lot about it just yet, but you have this, it lets you in. Now, here comes the decline, because they started to get a little weird during the Wii era now. So after PS2, after GameCube, now it's PS3, Wii, and Xbox 360. So with Mario Galaxy, which there's a little part torn right there. With Mario Galaxy, it's kind of the same stuff, except for some reason, Nintendo figured, with all of our manuals for our first-party games, let's include like 3 other languages in there. So, or 2 other languages. It's English, Spanish, and French. So, that's why these are like really thick. It's the same stuff repeated over and over. This would be much smaller if you took out the ones with the languages. Look at that. It's like that's like a comic book. That with the pages. Yeah, so you get some of the same stuff, you know, this is the English portion. The abilities and all that, you know, so that's really neat. I believe you get the story too. Characters. Oh yeah, story with Peach and the cake and whatnot, and then Rosalina and all them. So the Lumas. But the English portion stops right here, because then it's all the warranty shit and all that stuff. This right here is the entirety of the English portion. It's definitely smaller. It's a little not too small, but it is pretty small, you know. You get your controls, you get all that stuff, and then let me see. Actually, we have Mario Party 8 here. A lot of Mario ones I'm using, for example. Same kind of thing, you know. How big is the English version for this? This one's actually a little bit, okay, this one's a little bigger, I guess. Well, I don't know. But point being, for this generation, Nintendo specifically decided, let's just include like 2 other languages in all of our manuals to make it look like it's much more, well, okay, in hindsight, it's to help with those who only speak these languages, but I don't know. I find it really weird, because I never did it before, you know. Then we get into where the real decline starts. Now, the Wii ones, the Wii manuals, have a little less of the flashy, you know, info. Like we just saw. Okay, Sunshine's a little bit of a different. I mean, Galaxy's a little bit of a different story because it was a pretty early-ish game for the Wii. Mario Party 8, I think. Well, no, that one was also early-ish. Do I have a late Wii game in here somewhere? I don't know. I don't have one here. Okay, but they started to get a little less informational, a little more like, well, here's the warranty stuff, and here's the control. Mainly it's controls. The one thing that the manuals have consistently pushed, even to nowadays, are the controls. And that's kind of sad because we can just, again, we can learn the controls. It's the one part that I personally never really cared about. You can learn the controls by playing the game. That's what your game is for, to play it, and we have to get used to the controls by playing, you know? With Mario Party, and see, with Mario Party it's different because it's not a platformer, it's a party game. So there's only so much you can really describe about it, like the modes, and it's mainly modes for this one. Modes, so it's info you have to read, you know, info in terms of how to play and all that, not so much as the characters and, you know, the story. Now, of course, there's not much of a story when it comes to Mario Party, but characters, I mean, are there even characters in here? Where's their table of contents? Oh, here they all are, but no, you know, information about them, just because, I mean, it's Mario, you know, whatever. You don't need info, but it shows you the playable characters. Now, a weird thing is they show you the ones that you can unlock. It's not secret, so that's kind of unfortunate because there's no mystique anymore, you know? And that's one thing that I want to contribute when it comes to like the later, what we're about to get into right now. The informational stuff, the secretive stuff in games and all that, and how that's kind of declining as well. So let's now move on from the Wii stuff and all of that to the Wii U. Because, this is just a sad excuse for a video game manual. PacMan, and this is the one I use for my Vine, PacMan and the Ghostly Adventures. Check this out. First off, oh, I love what game, remember how like when you got, look at this, let's reference CTR again. Oh my god, but look at the back. Oh, it's referencing, you know, it's promoting another game, Spyro, and that just makes sense because Naughty Dog and Insomniac were so close together. But look, it's the game that you got, and it's advertising the next game for, like, you know, the other company. That's really nice. Tekken? Okay, it's just the face, but alright. But they used to advertise games, like, let's find another one. Okay, Inuyasha. And then the Hack Mutation. I never played that game, I don't know what that is. But anyway, they advertise other games, right? What the hell is this? It's just black. What? Do you have to like rub it and then the picture comes in? Like what the fuck is this? It's really, really lazy. Now you want to see what's actually in this manual? Let's take a look together. Limited warranty, seizure warnings, in another language, notes! And that's also something else I wanted to mention real quick. What the fuck were the notes segments for? Like, did you write your complaints and then mail it to them or something? Okay, here's a complaint. Needs more fucking content. Send. Back to Namco. Hey, where's the rest of where's the characters? Where's the rest of the manual? Did you just kind of like rush the manual? Like, we have no more time. The game's gonna release tomorrow. Oh shit. Print out like 1,000 billion copies, because that's a number now, of just like 3 pages of the manual. The rest will come as DLC. This is a poor excuse for a video game manual. There's nothing in here to look at. Now, like I was saying, you can learn everything from the game, yes, but again, if you wanted to know more before even playing, you look at these. There's like nothing in here, absolutely nothing in here to look at. And here's the reason why. We're in the informational age now, where you can just get anything you want on the internet. So, developers, I guess, just thought, who gives a fuck about these now? Because they can just, first off, we show trailers at conventions, we show trailers in general when we want. They can just look up more information on Wikipedia, or they can ask us themselves online and we'll answer. Remember the hotline? Freaking, I never used one before, but remember those hotline, let me see. Hotline, customer service. Look at that. This is Becca Sunshine's cover. Or a manual. And they had them for like the NES stuff, the SNES stuff as well, so... I don't know, like, you had to call people, and you can still call people now, I mean, to be fair, but mainly it's online. Everything's online. So, there are so many more ways, number one, to look up stuff yourself, number two, for them to share the information about their game with you. That's what kind of E3 is about now, and that's kind of, even though E3 has been around since like the late 80s or I think early 90s, still though, like, we've gotten so used to like wanting to learn more and wanting to do whatever that like we'll look wherever we can, which will now be online. So with that being said, once we know so much more about a game, developers are like, well, we don't need to include that info in our manuals anymore. And some games flat out don't even come with manuals at all. Look at this. New Super Mario Bros. U has, you know, something came with it. This, whatever the hell this is this what video game manuals have, you know, come down to now? Check out all of our other shit. And it's not done in the same way as it is with CTR and Spyro. That's something different because there was a lot more, they had a lot more to do with like advertising each other. But this is what they do now, this is what Nintendo does now. It's like, well, here's all the other games, and if it's not littler things like this right here, which is I guess their manual, some Nintendo games come with nothing but these little slips of like, check out the other stuff. And that's kind of it. It's like, I don't want to know more info about that game until I get that game. I want to know info about this game. This manual has controls. This is New Super Mario Bros. U's. Controls. It does have, though, to its credit, it does have a detailed map of it's in color of the worlds, since they're interconnected in this one. And that's it. Holy crap, that's really it. And then it's just the next language. Wow, I've never really taken the time to look at this one, to be completely honest. It's literally just controls. You see that? Controls. And then the world map. And more controls. And that's it. This is... I don't even know what to say. Oh, look, there's the hotline. Oh, look at it. Okay, maybe they still do customer service, I guess. Look at that. That's still there. But you can clearly see where I'm getting at. Like, there is a serious decline in quality. Some games have nothing at all. Nothing. It's so... This is lazy. This is flat out laziness right here. They didn't include anything interesting to look at. Which, again, I keep having to say again, but like, not a lot of people pay attention to the manuals, but that was something that I personally really appreciated because they were cool. They taught you a little bit about the game before you even played the game. Again, like I said, I don't exactly look down upon that when like you want to look at the stuff. It's there in these manuals for you. I personally never did it while playing my games because I learned everything I needed to learn by playing the game. But it's cool to have those there because they looked colorful. They were there for the kids if you were having trouble, you know? I'm pretty sure that, here, hold on. The first Crash straight up gives you a walkthrough of the first like 3 levels. There's a walkthrough, look it, I'm not even playing. Let me find it. It has characters and such too. Right here, Island Hopper. It gives you some info, but then right here, where it says level 1, and then it says walkthrough. It straight up tells you how to go about beating the levels. That's pretty crazy. Now I never had to read it because I just learned how to play the game when I was super little, and now I just know the game from having so much experience with it. But whenever I was bored, or to be honest, when I was on the crapper, I would read these just to see how, you know, in depth they were, how detailed they were, to just read what they were about. I already knew a lot of these games, and I have a ton of manuals. I'll get to show them off to you in the first episode of Nerdy Merch, but they're so detailed, they're so colorful. Look at Crash 2, boom. After you play this one, get ready next year for this one. So it's really sad that they don't do this anymore, or do they? Because Weston showed me his Dark Souls 3 instruction manual. Now, it's really small. It's about this small for the PS4 for some funny, odd reason. But he told me, one day he called me up and he goes, "Hey dude." I'm like, "Yeah?" He goes, "I just got Dark Souls 3. And with it came a manual." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't really care at that point when he said that, when he first said it, because I was like, well, look at the decline, you know? It's not, well, what do I care? Then he goes, "It's actually packed with detail and it's colorful." I'm like, really now? Because it's starting to be unheard of with how these ones are happening and the way they're making them like this now. So I was like, really? In 2016, we got a game that has a colorful, detailed manual. Are they starting to learn? Are they starting to learn now? Like, I hope, because there's still a reason to do it. Sure, you can always look it up online. Sure, you can always have, watch the trailers and have the people, the developers themselves tell you about them. But there was this kind of simplistic joy about learning the info for yourself when you first get the game through the manual. It was just really cool to inform yourself before you play the game, if that's what you wanted to do. Because again, that's not really what I did, but I do still read these from time to time just to see like the stuff it has in it, because it's cool and it's really nice that they give you something as a starter, as like a pat on the back, and then they shove you off to when you play the game. Now you know if you've read this. If not, well then you'll get to learn, This was your tutorial, and this is an option. You can either read it or not. And it didn't matter, because once you played the game, the obstacles are all still there, the challenge is all still there. It was really cool. Now they've integrated tutorials into games, and that pisses me off. And then these started to decline, because these were our tutorials, but now they're putting this stuff in the game as its own, like, now you have to jump, now you have to this, now you have to that. Okay, now go. And it's like, you could have just thrown me into the game and taught me by playing the game. So, save everything for this. If we wanted to read it, then we can read it, So, hopefully the, quality of video game manuals rises again, because if Dark Souls 3 can show us anything, it's that they're starting to do it again. So keep this up, it's not, this is not like it's just a 90s thing, or it's just an 80s thing, or this is just a video game thing. You can write about your video game in a little small instruction manual, make it nice and bright and colorful to look at, and we can learn before playing the game if that's what we choose. There's a simplicity to it that makes it nice to have as an option. But we don't really have that now. But hopefully with Dark Souls we can start to bring that up again. I don't really know many other super modern games that do that now. And I would not have known any at all if Weston never showed me Dark Souls 3. So, what do you guys think of this? This is just something, this goes along the lines of, memory cards and the whole cheat code website, cheat code book thing. Like, I don't even really see that many cheat codes in modern games nowadays, because hey, you can just hack the game to find the shit, or just look it up somehow, And that's really sad. This secrecy, like I was starting to say, I'm adding secrecy in at the end of the video, but secrecy is not much of a thing anymore because of all the information we can gather now, because we're in the informational age. You don't really need these, you can just look it up online. And the secrets, with people leaking shit, like I've said before, and all of that stuff, it's getting really out of hand now. So, the secrecy isn't exactly there. Sometimes it is. There are still some things that we can get surprised at in games that they've tried so hard to hide. They have to try, like, really hard now to hide that stuff from us. But hopefully we can start learning back from that and be like, hey, let's put some legit effort into hiding the secrets, into giving out more info in a more easier way when they first get their game. Because hey, maybe we're in the informational age now, but not exactly everyone may still have either good internet or internet at all. So how else would they learn besides playing the game? Well, if they don't want to just leap into the game just yet, they can read this. And that's how it was back in the 90s. The internet wasn't that great back then, so all we had was this. So, I don't know. It's something to really think about, because it seems like such a simple thing and you can just throw these away if you wanted to, but I'm sorry, Crash. But you shouldn't really be so quick to throw them away, because maybe at one point you'll need them. Or, again, maybe not, because we're in the informational age, I don't know, but I have a shit ton of these. I have a bunch of manuals, and I love keeping them because there aren't really any that are being made like this anymore. And I just threw one to the side, I shouldn't have done that. But, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys have a bunch of video game manuals? What do you think of video game manuals? I'm going to also link down below, and in the end, this end slate will not be any of my videos. Wait, what was the one I said I was going to link earlier? I don't remember, but it will be linked once I watch this back. I'm also going to link a video that inspired me to do this video. It's from Nitrorad. It's the, I think it's kind of named the same thing. It's the decline of the back covers of video game box covers. Seeing that's what got me into Nitrorad. I was like, oh, this is well thought out. This is a really nice video. And it's on something that not a lot of people really stop to look at and inspect and analyze and think about. Same thing with these video game manuals. You can always just get them and maybe take a glance at it and then throw it away. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Let me know. And do you guys still own video game manuals? And let's talk about that. So, I'm Marcelo. I'll see you guys later. Take care. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you.